Hey friends, I've been thinking, we all have our strengths, right? There are things I'm great at and things I'm definitely not great at. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, but ask me to add something to a website or an app. Yeah, that's where things get a little messy. Oops, I love speaking. I love sharing stories. But social media, all those hashtags, algorithms, trends, that's a jungle I still haven't mapped out. Now, coming up with ideas that bring people together, that's my sweet spot. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I have agreed to stay in separate corners. And you know what? That's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, that's when the magic happens. Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every single one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us strong on our own. But imagine how powerful we become when we combine them. That's the heart of Community Pay It Forward. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working side by side to make a real difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's discover it together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night, stepping out of her fear. Bring me home, out of love.
Good evening, everyone. How's it going? My name is Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass, and PACT Podcasting Networks. Hey, we're back. It is Lynnsday, and for some reason, you can't see me at all. All the lights are off now, so I don't know what's going on with my camera and my computer and everything else. So let me see if I can do this and fix it a little bit. Well, hey, you know what? Now you can see a little more of me. But before we bring Lynn up, I was on Facebook this morning, and I saw some very, very unfortunate news. And I want to reach out to a dear friend of mine, one who is probably just about as responsible for the birth of Community Pay It Forward as myself. Many, many years ago, I met Leanne Beavers when she was opening up her Beaver's Den Leathers in Loveland. And I was going around looking for auction items for our MDA benefit at the tavern, and Leanne wasn't even open yet. Wasn't even open yet. But I walked in and told her who I was, what I was doing, and she instantly gave us some Harley-Davidson parts. And I don't know if you know anything about Harley-Davidson, but that HD that you see everywhere stands for $100, okay? And that's for like the tire caps. Those cost $100. Everything you do costs hundreds of dollars on a Harley-Davidson, okay? It's just, they're stupid expensive. It's the way it is. But Leanne took and she donated these items. And from that moment on, her and I became really, really good friends. And we did a lot of work together. And she was the first person I approached after my accident about starting Community Pay It Forward. She loved the idea. She thought it was great. She was our very first partner. Leanne put out a post yesterday that she had just got a phone call and they found her daughter deceased. And I just want to say to you, Leanne, that I love you. You were here for me. You were here for my accident. You were here through all the BS and all the good, all the bad. You were here. Leanne, please know that I'm here for you. I'm a phone call away, sweetheart. I love you. And I am my heart is with you right now. That is such a terrible, I couldn't even imagine being that. And truthfully, I do know that I've got a couple people that you could talk to if and when you would like to talk to him. I, of course, would never pressure you to. One of them you know John Vogels from Martyred Angels, and I'm positive John would talk to you about this. But I know one other person that you could always call and talk to, and that's me. Again, Leanne, I love you, and I am so sorry that you're going through this situation. I'm in pain with you, and I just don't know what else to say. But I love you. So, sorry to start the show off on this note, but this was very important because, like I said, Leanne, there may not be a Community Pay It Forward if there was not a Leanne Beavers. She truly was the one who took and convinced me that this was a good idea. So, but we are back after taking a month off. We took a month hiatus, but we are back and we're on our new night. And this is our first episode of Lynnsday on Tuesday. Hello, Lynn Sabulski. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Zach. How are you?
Doing okay. It's been a really tough last couple of weeks. It seems like we've had some unfortunate passings, but unfortunately that's part of getting older, is that stuff like this happens more and more, and it's sad when it hits this close to home, So, but other than that, you know what? We're doing pretty good. We've got some good things going on, and the best thing that we've got going on is we have you with us today. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You mentioned earlier about your pregnancy, and I wanted to, express my condolences also. And yeah, we have had a few losses in the community recently, and even though we're here and it's tarot night, we're having a fun time and all that kind of stuff. Tarot is like every part of life. We go through these things and they're heavy, and, saying what you said matters. When people are grieving, they find themselves in all kinds of like weird places at weird times of the day and night, and, just having a message out there or seeing somebody kind of take a moment is really reassuring. And sometimes that's all we can do. Sometimes all we can do is send a prayer or send a text or, do a little favor or something like that. And it's just kind of a reminder of, as you alluded to earlier, exactly why we're all here in the first place, because it's important to be good human beings and to develop relationships with our fellow human beings.
There's a couple days coming up that next week that we celebrate with our What You Got, where there's a lot of community togetherness type celebrations, and I don't think it could have been better timing with everything that's going on, because you're right. I mean, we've kind of fallen out of this feeling that we need to get to know our neighbors, and a lot of times, and people are staying away from each other more and more, and stuff like this, and I think it's hurting us existentially. I think it's just making things much worse, because you can't have that connection that we all used to have. I mean, I know I'm older than you, but you remember when you were growing up that, you had the neighbors and you had friends that you would go and hang out with, and as no matter if people believe it or not, no matter what people think about COVID, the truth is, COVID changed things, and COVID put us all into a little corner, and there's a lot of us that have never gotten out of that corner.
Yes, I do remember those times of which you speak. You're not that much older than me. I am thinking recently, it was towards the end of June, we went out to my parents' house in this very rural area of Pennsylvania, very scenic, and at one point we had to leave, and my mother and my partner were in the car, and the neighbor's dog got out. And they knew the neighbors, but it was like somebody that was visiting the neighbor. But there was this moment that appeared that wasn't part of my youth, that's, hey, watch approaching their house, you don't want to get shot. And I thought back, like, it didn't used to be that way. Well,
Yeah.
if you showed up on somebody's porch and any sort of noise was at the door, someone would say, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And open the door. Or like, hey, I wonder who's here. I open the door, not let me, be armed and approach everything as a threat when really someone's just trying to return my dog. Thankfully, the guy next door had no idea the dog was out, and the dog was super friendly too, and so was he, so it was good. But I think you're right, and even some of the people who got pets during the pandemic, you can tell that their pets are not well socialized, didn't have those opportunities to be out and around people. And so you're right, there's definitely the residual effect of people not quite yet moving back into society.
I think that is one thing that Adrienne and I we both believe in, that when we have a neighbor that's outside, we say hi. We want them to know who we are. I have a bad habit of making sure that people know that I'm in the area whenever I'm around, okay? People know that I'm there, much to the embarrassment of Adrienne quite often. But, but and my family has lived in the neighborhood that I'm at now for almost 75 years. So this is a neighborhood that, guess what? We're used to it. All right, we know our neighbors to the east of us, they have been in that house since the 60s. So we know them intimately. You know, I knew Mom and Dad Sandoval over there. You know, Grandma and Grandpa Sandoval. I went to both of their funerals. They were that close to us. And it's just, it is scary that people no longer want to have that communication with their neighbors. You know, our newest neighbor, they just moved in. There are a couple kids, and we made sure that they understood that, you know what, here's the deal. If, you know, she's a young mom with a infant, and I told her, if you're ever in a situation where you're afraid, you know, this is what I do, and if you need help, you get a hold of Adrienne, I will come to you. I truly believe that we need to bring that neighborhood back together, and it doesn't matter if you voted for the different idiot, it doesn't matter if you're a different religion than I am, it doesn't matter if you're a different race than I am. The truth is the truth, and the truth is that none of us have gotten where we are alone. We've all had to use products that somebody else invented. We've all had to use programs that somebody else has created. We need other people. Hello, Ann. How are you today? This is a chance for everybody to reach out and make sure, you know, this is a call for everybody to make sure that you reach out and say hi to your neighbor. And right now is a perfect time to do it. Let's get this started again to where, you know what, we need to stop being offended by everything and make sure that we realize, hey, we need other people. So we've got our good friend Jan. Do you remember Jan? She's with us. I know that she was wanting a reading, and Jan, I really hope that you're feeling better. I know that you just went through some stuff herself. So, but yeah, if anybody has, that's good to know. And if you have anything that you would like Lynn to read, please put your questions in the chat, and she will divine for you. So, did I get that right?
Yes, you did. I mean,
look at that.
That's
it's
one
almost
word.
like I know. So, yeah, and unfortunately, I do have one more thing, and I don't know why I just remembered this, but I started doing this, you know, with a tarot reader, with my, you know, a gentleman who used to host a show. He was called The Rev. And his wife, unfortunately, is going through a traumatic bout of cancer. And she unfortunately just lost part of her jaw. And I want to say to Sean and I love you guys too. And please let us know if there's anything that you can do. So, but that's just, there's so much going on right now, and we just need people to be well. And Sharon, you're in our hearts, without a doubt. So, looks like Anne has a question for you. What do you see for me and my male interest? Initial L.
Male interest. All right. Okay, so the first thing that flew out when we talked about your male interest is a reversed Ace of Swords. Swords is air, intellect. It's reversed because the reading is saying there is something big that you don't know about him. It's like facts or data, but that would kind of shift how you are viewing the potential interest in the situation. So I'll just throw it out there. You know, I'm not getting axe murderer vibes or anything like that. This is more of the like, is this a long-term partner? Is this like a short-term fun partner? Is this someone that I want to be a friend with afterwards? You're also pulling the reversed tiny elephants card, which loves the community pay it forward community. I'll turn it upright so that you can appreciate the artistry on it. It shows an elephant super tiny. The people are super big. And, you know, when we think about the elephant in the room, we think about something that's big. And in this card, it's really small, and it's the people that are really big. And so the meaning behind the card is, what is your perspective on the situation? And are there multiple perspectives to be had? So there's nothing in this reading that's saying, like, toss this person out, but there's definitely a lot more to this person and a lot more to this situation that meets the eye. He is not close to me now and not talking. That makes a lot of sense. You have a page of swords, or a page of, you know, air communication. This is like a message. This is literally the message of what should I be doing here from the factual perspective, not even necessarily from the feeling perspective. So we're going to take a shift. This is showing me something that is in his past. I am pulling the 9 of Cups, or the 9 of Chalices. Sometimes I call this the bartender card. This is somebody who has either been around or personally struggles with some addiction issues, some escapist issues. And so this is somebody who, when they have something to deal with and involves a lot of feelings, they don't necessarily know how to tame that down in their body to be functional, unless they're adding some sort of substance, unless they're engaging in some sort of activity that like gives them a jolt of some sort of chemistry. But there's a thing that they are dealing with in the background that's not just the communication issue. It's the real, like, how to keep their body balanced while they're dealing with feeling issues. There is another card that is for both of you to think about. This is a reversed 3 of Pentacles. Pentacles is money. Things that are reversed maybe haven't happened yet. And 3 of Pentacles typically talks about new jobs, new careers. So there's also the sense that this person doesn't really know what they want to do in terms of career yet. They may not be happy in what they're doing, or they may be trying to add something on. And so that perspective may also cause them to kind of not know what to say to you, because they don't necessarily feel settled. And I'm going to get really sexist here and say that I have certainly dated my share of people, men who say, oh, I don't want to consider being available or dating unless and until my money house is in order, and then like that never happens, and then they never put themselves out there. So there are things going on with this person that make sense as far as a reason for the lack of communication. So what do we do next? We are pulling a 3 of Swords. 3 of Swords is traditionally a breakup or separating card. The rest of the reading is not showing any kind of big dramatic thing, and so I would interpret this at least as a break, like let it settle for now. The thing that just popped into my head is 6 months, and then I'm also looking at this card, which is a reversed 6 of Pentacles. And this may mean that this person may have their job or career situation more figured out, such that they can have a more serious life toward the end of the year. Interestingly, we have some astrology that is happening toward the end of this month. Mercury is going to be going direct. Saturn is going to be going retrograde, and Saturn retrogrades until the end of the year, sometime in September. And so for the next 6 months, the challenges are going to be Aries themes. What we've started, can we continue the momentum? So this person and all of us collectively are just going to be very busy for the next 6 months. And again, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's something to be taken personally. We're getting a reversed page of wands. Wands is doing. I feel like that's the reading doubling down and saying don't do anything. So you don't necessarily need to say anything. You don't necessarily need to like make any sort of action happen either. The Eight of Swords is suggesting sit back and wait for the data to come in. Again, because we started this reading saying there's something about this person or this situation that would kind of shift your perspective. And so the best advice I can offer based on all this is, again, not an axe murderer, but, you know, the feeling that you're feeling in terms of interest may be based on a person or a situation that doesn't exist or isn't going to exist after the next 6 months are through. So I would say hang tight and you may have some clarity by the end of the year.
You know, I think that last one that you just said really kind of answers to this question. I'd like to start talking to him. And I think that what you, what I see from what you were just reading on that is maybe one of the reasons why he is silent, he's the one who's not talking, is maybe he's going through this thing that you don't know that's going on. And maybe it's just something that, you know, every once in a while you need that cool down period. Every once in a while you need that, you know, there's a change in life that you do have to figure it out. And by the way, I don't think I've ever used that financial house in order thing, because they would all know that I was full of crap. So, yeah, I would say that, you know, the truth is, and if I'm wrong, please tell me, but I think what she's saying is maybe don't push so hard right now and see what comes of it. You know, the cards are kind of saying that to you. Don't push like too hard right now. Let things go as they go. Let it flow as they flow, because, you know, pushing is I don't think pushing it's ever really that great of an idea anyway.
It's just a matter of, like, you know, when and how we show up in somebody's life makes a big impact on how they are able to value us. You know, if Zach and I are sitting next to each other on the bus and I just came from dinner and he's like, hey, do you want some potato chips? I'm going to be like, no, thanks. And it's just going to fly out of my mind and I'm not going to care that much. If I'm sick and I haven't eaten for 2 days and I'm on my couch and Zach shows up with a bag of potato chips, I'm going to be like, oh my God, you're my hero. And so, you know, he's making the same gesture. He's just offering me some chips, but based on where I'm at, I either ignore it completely or I say, wow, you're exactly what I need when I need it. So I think it's, especially with this 9 of Cups issue, I mean, you know, to be honest with you, people who have been around either addiction or mental health issues, when they come to a situation that's serious for them in a good way, a positive way, hey, I found someone I'm really interested in, hey, I figured out what I want to do with my life, there's then all of these steps in between that they have to take to get there. And it's that journey that can be really difficult. And until they kind of get over that first awkward phase and find their footing, it can look ugly. It can look like backsliding on addiction issues. It can look like, you know, tearing somebody's face off who's a loved one. You know, it can look like self-sabotage in other ways. And so sometimes people kind of need to be alone to work through those things and to find better coping mechanisms. And like, you may be a great person in the long term for someone who needs to maintain that, but from a power dynamic, especially when we're talking about relationships, this person may not want to give you the power, so to speak, of having been the person who showed him the way. Maybe he wants to find the way himself and then come back to you as like a more put together person because he did this for himself, not because he needed you as a crutch. And again, it's not that he would need you as a crutch, but when people are trying to kind of like right their head a little bit, they can fall into these patterns of thinking of like, you have the power, I have the power, you know, you're in control, I'm in control, before they get to the place where they're confident enough that like equal is okay.
Okay, and with this one, you got to remember that addiction is not always, we're not talking about drugs and alcohol. You can be addicted to working out. You can be addicted to eating. You can be addicted
to work.
Yeah, you can. You can be, and as a matter of fact, that's one of the problems that I had, that Adrienne, before she moved up here, she said, that one stops or I'm not moving up there. Because I would work for 20 hours a day. I didn't care. I was alone. What the hell did I care? I didn't care. And so I worked for 20 hours a day. And Adrienne said, nope, nix that or I'm not coming. So, and one other thing that you need to know is maybe, just maybe, this was a situation where, and you touched on this, that he saw you as not a hindrance in it, but somebody who would want to help him get through it. And he's not ready to accept help yet. And that is something that you know, you have to, you really have to be willing to accept someone's help, and you get scared, if not angry sometimes, when people insist on helping. There's times when people come out and they insist on your, you know, on helping you, and it just makes things worse because it makes you realize how bad you are a lot of time, or it makes you feel like you're even worse. So, but as far as addiction, we're not specifically talking about a chemical addiction, because you can be addicted to cartoons, video games. There's a lot of things to be addicted to. So, and then with your comment about so no hope for us to reunite in the next 6 months, you know, I don't know if maybe you want to try to read off that, but I don't like the term no hope. I never liked the term no hope, because you know what? You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. You just don't. You can plan and plan and plan, but that doesn't mean you know what's coming tomorrow.
I would echo that and say reassess in 6 months, and remember that there is some piece of information or data or some chunk of data that's going to shift how you're feeling now and in terms of how you see this person. So yeah, a lot can happen in 6 months, but there is still that mystery piece of data that's out there. And you know, sometimes when we come up against these things in readings where it's like, just give me the obvious piece of information, and it's not there, it's because if we had that one piece of information, we would act differently. And so I think it's kind of not necessarily spelling out for you what the issue is, because, and please don't take this the wrong way, you seem like the type that if you knew what the issue is, you would be like, well, let me help you out with this issue, and he might be trying to, like, you know, avoid that until he doesn't have necessarily an issue for you to grab onto. You know, I mean, let him give you the good impression of himself. If it takes 6 months before he can work up, like, his best impression and have the direct conversation with you, then it could be worth waiting for.
Yeah, 6 months, and, you know, in the long run, 6 months is not a long time to wait. And especially if he's just looking for, you know, himself. Because there's a lot of times that we need to take a little bit of time to find ourselves before we give ourselves. So, Jan, sweetie.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hey, girl. I'm doing better.
That's
a little
good.
Stressed, but better.
Yeah. Yeah, Adrienne was telling me a little bit about what you had going on, and then of course she had to go and get labs this morning, so I walk in there and thinking about all the things that you guys were talking about, so I'm like, oh, you know, what, I know that you're in the same area with Lynn and this are what do you said something about you've been talking her up. What is it about Lynn that you like?
I love her brutal. She's brutal, and I love that about her. That's like my favorite thing. I see Lynn and I'm like, oh, she's so brutal. She just tells it as it is, and I love that because it reflects me. That's something about me that I enjoy, that not necessarily everybody else enjoys. So, Lynn, I love you for you and your mouth and your quick wit, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I am so glad you appreciate that, and
it's a rarity.
This is not the first time someone has pointed this out to me about myself, but one of my when I worked at the School of Visual Arts, one of my students quoted one of their professors, and I don't know the professor's name, and it haunts me every day now, and they said, "Simplicity is clarity, is kindness."
Yes.
For everybody, right?
This brutality, this honesty, this with what you're talking about, you have to be, because if you're not, you're fake. And this is something, quite honestly, I think this would be an easy to spot a fake. Somebody who's just out of the realm. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You're absolutely right. And so this is me. I look at it from the standpoint, if I lie to you, what good is that going to do you? What good is that going to do to me? And because I love you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm just going to tell you as it is. And I love you as a human being. Kind of like what you were talking about earlier. It doesn't matter what creed, race, whatever. I love you as a human being, and I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. I'm going to call a duck, and I'm going to call a spade. And that's just the way that it is. So that brutality and honesty, it makes you real.
You hit it right on the head. It's, the opposite of love is fear. And I feel like people get into the lying when they're afraid. They're afraid because of how it's going to impact the person. They're afraid because of how it might make them look. But, yes, if you're meeting everyone in a loving place, human being to human being, then it's okay to be open and say these things if we are providing the appropriate container.
I agree. And you guys were talking earlier about neighbors being neighborly. Is that one of the things that we fear, is because we have to be fake? We have to put on this persona on the reason why we don't approach our neighbors. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy. We live in a world where we have instant gratification and perfection all around us. So if we're not perfect, then are we going to be judged? But if I don't know, it goes hand in hand.
I think we also are being pressured to portray our best selves always. On social media, it's like now people feel pressured, like they have to come up with this public narrative that's like, look at the fancy meals I eat, and look how great I look on a Tuesday, and this and that and that. And then when you get to a thing that's like kind of negative, like, hey, I had a bad day, I had a health thing, I had a heartbreak, I'm down today, then it becomes this like, well, we see the people who have those issues who maybe use it for too much negative attention. They come online and they just kind of dump, or they see some sort of situation, they feel like they have to one-up it with how badly they're doing, and nobody wants to be that person. But then if you're not feeling like, supermodel status, where's the in-between? And I think for a lot of us, we just kind of say, well, I'll just be quiet and wait for things to pass.
I really wonder, Jen, like what you were just saying. I mean, what is it within yourself that you feel like you have to lie to be something else? That's the confusing thing, is that if your self-worth is so bad that you feel like you have to lie to be something else, maybe you need to look at what you're doing.
Right.
Because, if honestly, you can't, and Lynn, we talk about this all the time. The one thing that you cannot be, no matter how hard you try, is something that you're not. You cannot be something you're not. And I mean, if you're lying to people, then you're never going to truly know who you are. They're never going to know who you truly are. It's kind of like, wearing a girdle. Okay? I mean, guess what? It's all fine and dandy until, you get busy and then that thing pops off and you're like, whoa, that was hiding a secret.
Right?
I mean, you can't lie and have good, just good feelings towards each other.
No, and I've done a lot online. So even before, the pandemic, even before all of that, I ran an online radio station for years. And I was who I was. I wasn't going to hide. So the people that ended up meeting me in person, they're like, "You're really who you were on air." Yeah. Yeah, I am. This is me 110%. I don't hide, I'm pretty comfortable in my own skin considering I have to wake up in it and go to bed in it. So
Yeah.
I might as well just own it. I'm a weirdo and I'm okay with that.
Okay, I had to just come on and say hi. I love you.
Hi,
I'm going to be
I love
watching
you.
from the kitchen. I want to hear your reading because she doesn't know anything.
Yeah, a lot's changed.
All right.
So,
I'm glad to see you, Adrienne, and this is the first time I'm seeing your new ink on video.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
oh, yeah, we, she just got that the other day with, when her daughter was here, so, I know she's been getting a lot of compliments on it, so, the artist doesn't get any compliments, but she does, Okay, AI created it. I just put in the prompts. But still,
Good job. Good job.
Still works.
well, I know how to talk. So, did you have any questions, Jen? Or do you just want a general?
Just a general. Because there is so much. I could spend an hour asking you questions. I mean, at this rate, I'm
Ready to go.
ready. Yeah.
Alright, so these are separate issue. I feel like the reading is kind of coming out in 3 parts, if that makes sense. Alright, so those guys
So you might be talking to her for an hour anyway.
might
Well,
be.
my personalities, right there. No.
Okay, so I will start with part 1 of the reading. This is talking about, we have pulled the Ace of Swords again, so we can say this is like the party card for the night. So Ace of Swords, an idea, a fact. It's ace, so it's a critical thing. Underlying that is a 4 of Swords. A 4 of Swords typically talks about somebody who has to take a step back. A lot of times this is like, it could be a health thing, it could be a vacation thing, it could be a pause between things, but there's this idea that like someone gets taken out of play, and it's a 4 of Swords, so they're taken out of play, completely for a minute, but the brain is still going. And, once the mind has kind of come to certain conclusions, that's when the vacation is over. And so that's kind of what's being decided here. What is the key idea or situation that we're going to act on that is going to end this vacation? In the past, we're pulling 10 of Pentacles. The deck only goes up to 10, and Pentacles is money. And so this is saying, I used to have a lot more money, or I came from a lot more money, and how do I approach life with less of it and still feel like I'm doing okay? We have the 2 of Swords, which talks about, of the perspectives that are available, which ones are you going to choose? This is very much like, you know, the glass half empty or the glass half full. That's a choice you can make, and it applies to other things. And so that's kind of saying the most important thing, without sounding like cliche, the most important thing is the outlook. What is coming next in this situation? A Six of Swords. Surely by now you've noticed the swords theme. This is all intellectual. This is all, you know, in the head. Six of Swords talks about a new intellectual journey. It forms a bridge in this deck, and so it's kind of forming the bridge between the old way of thinking versus the new way of thinking, the old research versus the most recent research, the old way that this got handled versus a new way we can do things. And so that's the journey that is going to be happening. And I got like a 7-month thing. So this is going to be like through the end of this year, and I would say right up through the end of January next year. And there's like a little side thought that says, you know, it also impacts how you're gathering like money and tax data. So that first month in January is going to have some stuff attached to it. And that's typical Swords energy for you. It's the paperwork and the numbers and all that kind of stuff.
The crunch.
Yeah. So that's what is happening in that journey. Here are kinds of themes to look out for the rest of the year. We have a reversed Wheel of Fortune under fears and concerns. This is literally saying, have I achieved my life purpose, and how will I know? That's just a thought that we're going to explore this year. We have a Queen of Pentacles, which means there is a female figure somewhere in here who is holding the money bags. As meager as they may be at moments, there is somebody who is clearly calling the shots when it comes to money and how it should be allocated. You're just going to have to listen to them. I mean, there's nothing else in this reading. And listen to them, because we're pulling a 9 of Wands. That person has really been around the block. They've had a lot of experiences. You know, this is the deep, deep wisdom that gets almost like punchy about life. But they are worth listening to. There is also a new young person, I'm getting male vibe from this, who is going to come into this situation, and I feel like it is a related endeavor. Like there may be some sort of work or career partnership where this person's kind of like a piece, but they have like their own separate thing rather than just two people doing the same thing. Where to kind of focus the attention. Everything is like swords, la la la, swords, 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 all serious. But then we get to this 6 of Cups or 6 of Chalices. And in this deck, the 6 of Cups and the Empress are very connected. This card is saying, yes, there are all these decisions that need to be made, but there is a real human body at the end of this that needs self-care, that needs to like eat and sleep and all that kind of stuff. And more importantly, needs to find purpose and joy in what they're doing. Because this card that we saw lurking here, this like reverse Wheel of Fortune, am I doing my life purpose yet, and how will I know? That's kind of like a heavier burden than sometimes we can explain. And so this card is saying really focus on like finding those moments of joy, finding those moments of, oh, I love this part, because it can absolutely be split up into parts such that you can have the thing that you're looking for and also add in people and supports as they're needed. So that's piece 1 of the reading. So that is a situation. Let's move to another situation that is interesting to me because it is opening with the High Priestess card. And so this is saying, okay, for the psychic person in the bunch and the thing that they are dealing with and exploring.
Is anybody shocked that she pulled this one with Jan on?
No.
No, okay, just checking.
There is a reversed Ace of Pentacles here, and so this is kind of saying a not yet when it comes to money. it's not negating it. So there is this sense of like either a payoff or, I don't want to say jackpot, but there is this sense of like a significant financial shift. But it's not something that's going to happen yet. And in the meantime, there are some practical tasks that need to be done. So the reading is kind of saying like that part will come into place. In the meantime, you know, keep your nose down. You know what you need to do. It's wands. And so it's like doing energy. If you get caught like thinking about something, just remind yourself there's this to-do list. And it's also saying that in there, you're getting a gift. This is typically either some sort of person or good luck situation that really comes out of left field and is like exactly what is needed when it's needed. And so it's really kind of saying, if your intuition is only taking you so far and you can't see how you possibly get there, this is like the card from left field that's coming in, and it's a good thing. So that is that situation. And then we have our final scenario. Okay. This feels, what came out of this for me is a relationship with another couple, or a relationship with a couple. And here are some things that we're pulling out about this couple and potentially where things are moving. We're pulling a 5 of Pentacles, which says that right now this pair of people are going through some financial issues where they are possibly missing some opportunities, and I think it is probably creating some sort of like vibe that is off, where maybe they're kind of like moving in some directions they don't need to be, or presenting themselves in a way that is not genuine, but there's something that's throwing off the vibe, and it really is like a material sort of thing that's causing that behavior. There is also a reversed 4 of Cups, and so connected to that vibe, it's saying, hey, there's something that's going to happen with them yet, more than likely before the end of this year, that is going to cause some real sort of depression and heartache and things. So I will pause and say, this is not a great situation. But again, you know, I feel like the vibe is kind of off with them anyway, and then there's this situation on top of it. How can you possibly know? There's a reversed 10 of Cups, so it's saying there is a potential like happily ever after scenario with these people, but you know, I would say at least through the end of this year, beginning of next year, it's going to be hard to build the relationship based on like the genuine people and the genuine circumstances, because they're just kind of going through the ringer in a couple different ways right now. So that, you know, this is kind of saying they have the potential to be great and put their best foot forward, but it's not going to happen now. And then we also have a reversed Devil card, which says there are some sneaky issues that are theirs to deal with, and they will or they won't. This is one of those situations, I'll put it this way. In life, we come across people and we know that either they have some kind of permanent situation that throws off the vibe, or they have some like long-term situation that they're struggling with, and we have to kind of say to ourselves, okay, this person comes with some baggage. Is it something that I am equipped to handle? And are they self-aware? And are they doing everything they need to do on this end, so that whatever the baggage is becomes a once-in-a-while scenario and not a constant interrupted scenario? And so I feel like this couple is grappling with that, and you're not going to really be able to tell until, you know, several months at least, whether or not they will be like manageable to be around, or if they're going to be a drain.
You hit it all on the head, and Zach's gonna start laughing, and I can actually on this show be able to air out uh, what's going on. So this will be the first announcement that I make.
Spill the
As of,
tea, my friends.
as of today, we have made the final decision that we're moving. And we're going to Nevada. And I have less than 5 days to pack up the house. Yeah, we did get a place. So yeah, it's a little bit stressful. The kids aren't here. So, I mean, we're packing at a fast rate, and we always have the opportunity to come back. I mean, this is our home, and we'll come back and we'll get some things. So, you said like that outlook, that perspective. We had 10 days to make a decision for the next 3 to 5 years of our life. So, that means my 15-year-old would be graduated. My 8-year-old will be, advanced into her years.
Yeah.
So a lot of hit the fan, and it was so quick decisions. I ended up having a massive panic attack, which ended up throwing me in the ER, where I found out that I could have had this potentially weird clot that only 1 in 3,500 people get. Next day, it wasn't there. Doctor refused to see me. I was referred to. And I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to change my outlook. I'm going to go to my doctor. I know what's going on with me. And my doctor went, yeah, I don't think that there was a blood clot. So now I'm going to weed myself off of these blood thinners. Because I don't want to be on them while moving, because I'm a klutz. So, yeah, it's a huge career jump. And the money thing is absolutely right, because now we're going to be renting and paying a mortgage. So it's going to be, we're paying utilities here, we'll be paying utilities there. So it's a money management thing. All in all, it's cheaper for us to go than to stay here, because it's just cheaper. And I don't want to be, away from Jesse, and the kids don't want to be away from Dad. So yeah, that was a quick decision, quick, fast. And then the health thing. You hit it with the work change. So our oldest is going with us, and his family will be following a month after. So there's that young couple, and I know that they have issues with certain things. And then you have my oldest, my personal oldest, our second oldest, and he's in a crunch, and they just had their third baby. And it's a tight squeeze, so they're learning some lessons. And that's one thing that I stepped back, and he approached us about working with his brother and his stepdad. And we're all for it. We're like, we'll help you get there. We'll help you do it. And then he backed out, because it's a lot. It's what these guys do is not easy. They work 6 days a week. They travel, they're gone. So I get it. It's hard with the family. I'm doing it right now, though. Like, it's not impossible if you put your mind to it, right? And that's the overcoming the outlook on how you look at it. So I'm curious to see by the end of the year where it's going to take them. That's something that I've honestly thought about with Christmas coming up, them being off of work. Like, I'm just wondering how this is going to play out. So yeah, you hit it right on the heads, and with both relationships with both sons, it's kind of shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. Well, see, it was kind of funny, because when she was talking about, like that financial situation where, it's different than it was 10 years ago or whatever that was, I was almost wondering if maybe that could have been your health, but that was before I heard about all this stuff, because you are having more problems with your health, and I was wondering if maybe that was something that was affecting you, because you are having these additional problems, and you had the potential breakdown yesterday. And so I was really thinking maybe that's what that was reading is that. And
yeah,
of course I had fear for you, when
that
that
scary.
came up, but yeah.
That was terrifying to sit down and to be told that you potentially have a blood clot in your main heart. That's where you explore the question and you hit it. Have I fulfilled my life's purpose?
Yeah.
And the vacation thing is, you're right. The minute I changed my outlook and I made the decision, vacation's over. I gotta work. There's no more sitting on my booty right now. Like, oh my goodness. And that's okay because, it's healthy. Change is healthy. I'm excited for this new step. You hit it on the head. In September, things will definitely be changing, and you hit that the last reading. And you hit it with my daughter-in-law with the changes and things coming up in her life. So that's why I say I love it, because you're brutal. You're honest. You're spot on. So
Well,
and like I said, Zach didn't even know.
yeah, I didn't know. And the one thing that I think the one thing that freaked me out the most out of all the readings with everything that I saw in that was that pissed off goose. I don't know what was going on with that, but there was that pissed off goose on the one card.
I need to know now. Oh my God.
It was in that first set.
Oh, it was this one, right?
No. It had a goose that looked like he was coming down to bite something. It had big teeth and...
Let's see, it's got to be one of the swords.
Yeah, you know what? I don't get along with geese, and I don't see eye to eye.
Oh, here it is. The Knight of Swords.
There you go, the pissed off goose.
That was me. That is an exact reference. I want to know. Me fighting a goose when I was like 3. I'm pretty sure it looked like that. Vivid memory of it looking like that.
I saw that thing and I started fearing for your life, Jan. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I don't like birds very much. And I saw that and I'm like, ooh, I'm a little uncomfortable now.
But funny story, I had to go on a field trip. Well, I didn't have to. I volunteered. And I was pregnant with my 3rd son. So here I am with all these little ones, and we're running around, and I'm exhausted. And all of a sudden, we get near the geese. And I'm shooing like 8 boys away from the goose path, right? And I'm like, boys, we got to go over here. And Pat, my second oldest, his field trip, he looks at me, he goes, ooh, it's the geese. And I was like, Pat, no. He's like, okay, Mom. He's like, let's walk away. She doesn't want to be attacked, boys. Right as he said that, the one with the messed up foot and the one with the messed up wing flew over and started attacking me. Here I am pregnant. I peed myself. Okay? I can't kick this thing because I'm at a wildlife reserve and I've got kids watching me. Like, what do you do? Like, it was... So I'm trying to waddle away while this thing is flying and waddling at me. And it was going like, not straight because it had the messed up foot and wing. And it was like going sideways. It was bad.
Because it's not its first time, clearly. It's always the ones with like the injury. They're like, well, I got nothing to lose now.
Yeah.
What is it about injured birds that are scarier than like, you know what, I'd rather face a fully healthy bear than an injured, pissed off bird. I really would.
Well, because you've taken their flight away, so now they just got to be frightening.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what, ladies, this was a lot of fun, and Jan, I'm glad. Congratulations on everything. That's really cool.
Thank you.
That's really cool. And Lynn, it was great to have you back. I think that we need to do this again next month. What do you think?
I think so. Same bat time, same bat place.
Yep, pretty much. Same time, same place. We're sticking with Tuesdays. That way we can tell Santa's stories on Wednesday. So, but I'm kind of liking the Tuesday, and it gives me a little bit more time off at nights during the week, a little bit longer break. We got to get the food thing figured out though, so we can get Adrienne here. So, not that I had enough time to do this or anything.
It sounds like it's going to be Taco Tuesday, Zach. That's the short answer.
Well, it's going to be Enchilada Tuesday. Yeah, it's going to be Enchilada Tuesday. So it was leftover. We actually do leftovers on Sunday. So
I always did leftover Wednesdays. You get the food from the weekend gone, and you get, Wednesdays were just leftover days, if there was leftovers with the boys.
Yeah, we tend on eating leftovers on Wednesdays too, because that's the day that my parents cook. So yeah.
Yeah.
We eat the leftovers because we're not, you can only eat so many sub sandwiches before you decide that I'm done with this.
I worked at Subway. I agree. It was 90 days, and it was the worst 90 days of my life. Customer service and making sandwiches. But let me tell you, I went to Sandwich University, and I am certified.
Were you a sandwich artist? Do you remember that campaign?
Yes, I was.
That you couldn't. Yeah, they had to be called sandwich artists.
Yes.
And that's like there's two things that have always just curdled my nerves, and one, calling someone a sandwich artist. No, you're a line cook. That's what you are. You're a sandwich maker. It's fine. It's okay if you're a sandwich maker.
It's okay. No offense.
Well, and then the other thing is, when they take and they tip my Blizzard upside down at Dairy Queen, I want to strangle people.
What
are you doing? I know, and I have actually written Dairy Queen and told them to stop doing that. It is so annoying. It is so, partly because I fear it falling out one of these days, and I know that I'm going to dive down and eat it. So I don't want him to do that anymore.
You just want your ice cream fix.
Hey, that's exactly what it is. This last Sunday was National Ice Cream Day, and I made a video, the What You Got video, and it had all the ice cream desserts flying across the screen and me talking about the best day of the year. And it mentioned that, it was a great day to share, and I called BS on that one because I don't share my ice cream. So, yeah, that's my day.
You can have mine. I just found out I was lactose. You can have all my ice cream back.
Yeah, so am I. That doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. So, hey.
It matters to my dog, I tell you what.
You've been around my dogs. You know what? I owe them.
No,
I owe them. So they, I sit here every once in a while, and I'll be doing this show, and all of a sudden, I'll get that lovely smell that wafts up from under my desk, and I'm like, oh, I even know which one that is.
Rose.
My ears start. No, it's usually Ghost. It's usually Ghost. So. Yeah.
Rose,
so she's good, but she's loud. So that's the one thing about her. Ghost, you never hear it.
Lynn, she is loud.
Yes,
she snores too.
Yes, right, she does. Ear. But yes, Lynn, this dog will sit there and it'll sound like somebody's standing on the other couch going, and that's her. That's her passing gas.
I used to carry her around in my sweater pocket.
Used to.
And she was so tiny. And her little head would peek up, and then all of a sudden, like, she'd, even being that little, she was loud. She was loud. Like, everybody knew I had Rose in my pocket. Like, they'd be like, Rose? Here.
Yeah. But look at this. This one knows that we're talking about him, so of course she's coming in. But well, ladies, thank you very much. I think this has been a great show. Lynn, how do people get a hold of you, my dear?
footnotestarot.com. All my information is there, and we'll be back next month on the third Tuesday.
Yes, not third Thursday like I keep trying to write. I don't know why we don't just move to Thursdays, because I've been trying to put you on Thursday every night since we started this. The only problem is my wife usually has a podcast on Thursdays. So, but yeah, hey, before we let you guys go, we are doing something right now. We're begging you to please join Lynn in the family. You can join the family for as little as $20 a month and make a real difference. That's our goal. Our goal is to help everyone. And what we want to do is we want to tell the story of you and your business. And while we're doing that, we want to help others. We invite you to join us. Scan the QR code right here and turn your sales into true power. Because with the referral and $20 a month, every purchase goes to help someone in need. So please contact us today by joining the family. My name is Zach Clayton for Lynn Sabulski for Jan. Again, congratulations. Thank you all very, very much. And please remember to love someone out there, because someone out here loves you. And always remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together.
Bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.
Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold. And Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan. Know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information.